Today is January 28th. Welcome to Big Book Daily. My name is Rob. I am an alcoholic. It is a thrill, honor, and joy to be here with you today as we journey through the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous and the 12 Steps and 12 Traditions. Today out of the Big Book, we are going to continue our journey through There's a Solution. That is chapter 2, page 18. Out of the 12 and 12, we are on step 3. We'll be reading page 40. And of course, we'll read the 24 hours a day and daily reflection. So with that, hope you all are doing well this morning, my friends. It is hump day already. But the nice thing is, we don't have to worry about any of those other days throughout the week. Let's just concentrate on this 24 hours. See if we can work this program and live a life of integrity today. So with that, let's get to the good stuff. Okay, so if you recall from yesterday's reading out of the Big Book, we talked about how the fellowship is absolutely crucial and wonderful. The feeling of having shared in a common peril is one element in the powerful cement which binds us. Beautifully written, by the way. But then they also talk about there's also, just as important, the common solution. And as it's probably been hinted around to, that would be the 12 suggestions that we know of. So let's go ahead and read page 18. An illness of this sort, and we have come to believe it an illness, involves those about us in a way no other human sickness can. If a person has cancer, all are sorry for him and no one is ever angry or hurt. But not so with the alcoholic illness, for with it there goes annihilation of all things worthwhile in life. It engulfs all whose lives touch the sufferers. It brings misunderstanding, fierce resentment, financial insecurity, disgusted friends and employers, warped lives of blameless children, sad wives and parents. Anyone can increase the list. We hope this volume will inform and comfort those who are, or who may be affected. There are many. Highly competent psychiatrists who have dealt with us have found it sometimes impossible to persuade an alcoholic to discuss the situation without reserve. Strangely enough, wives, parents, and intimate friends usually find us even more unapproachable than do the psychiatrists and the doctor. But the ex-problem drinker who has found this solution, who is properly armed with facts about himself, can generally win the entire confidence of another alcoholic in a few hours. Until such an understanding is reached, little or nothing can be accomplished. That the man who is making the approach has had the same difficulty, that he obviously knows what he's talking about, that his whole deportment shouts at the new prospect that he is a man with a real answer, that he has no attitude of holier than thou, nothing whatever except the sincere desire to be helpful, that there are no fees to pay, no axes to grind, no people to please, no lectures to be endured. These are the conditions we have found most effective. After such an approach, many take up their beds and walk again. Out of the 12 and 12, we're on step 3. Made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood Him. Page 40. Then it is explained that other steps of the AA program can be practiced with success only when step 3 is given a determined and persistent trial. This statement may surprise newcomers who have experienced nothing but constant deflation and a growing conviction that human will is of no value whatever. They become persuaded, and rightly so, that many problems beside alcohol will not yield to a headlong assault powered by the individual alone. But now it appears that there are certain things which only the individual can do. All by himself, and in the light of his own circumstances, he needs to develop the quality of willingness. When he acquires willingness, he is the only one who can make the decision to exert himself. Trying to do this is an act of his own will. All of the 12 steps require sustained and personal exertion to conform to their principles, and so we trust, to God's will. It is when we try to make our own will conform with God's will that we begin to use it rightly. To all of us, this was the most wonderful revelation. Our whole trouble had been the misuse of willpower. We had tried to bombard our problems with it instead of attempting to bring it into agreement with God's intention for us. To make this increasingly possible is the purpose of AA's 12 steps. And step 3 opens that door. Once we have come into agreement with these ideas, it is really easy to begin the practice of step 3. In all times of emotional disturbance or indecision, we can pause, ask for quiet, and in the stillness, simply say, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Thy will, not mine, be done. "24 hours a day, January 28th. AA thought for the day. What a load hangovers put on your shoulders. What terrible physical punishment we've all been through. The pounding headaches and jumpy nerves, the shakes and the jitters, the hot and cold sweats. When you come into AA and stop drinking, that terrible load of hangovers falls off your shoulders. What a load remorse puts on your shoulders. That terrible mental punishment we've all been through. Ashamed of the things you've said and done. Afraid to face people because of what they might think of you. Afraid of the consequences of what you did when you were drunk. What an awful beating the mind takes. When you come into AA, that terrible load of remorse falls off your shoulders. Have I gotten rid of these loads of hangovers and remorse? Meditation for the day. When you seek to follow the way of the Spirit, it frequently means a complete reversal of the way of the world that you previously followed. But it is a reversal that leads to a happiness and peace. Do the aims and ambitions that a person usually strives for bring peace? Do the world's awards bring heart rest and happiness? Or do they turn to ashes in the mouth? Prayer for the day. I pray that I may not be weary, disillusioned, or disappointed. I pray that I may not put my trust in the ways of the world, but in the way of the Spirit. Daily Reflection, January 28th. The Treasure of the Past. Showing others who suffer how we were given help is the very thing which makes life seem so worthwhile to us now. Cling to the thought that, in God's hands, the dark past is the greatest possession you have, the key to life and happiness for others. With it, you can avert death and misery for them. Alcoholics Anonymous, page 124. What a gift it is for me to realize that all those seemingly useless years were not wasted. The most degrading and humiliating experiences turn out to be the most powerful tools in helping others to recover. In knowing the depths of shame and despair, I can reach out with a loving and compassionate hand and know that the grace of God is available to me. All right, my friends, that concludes today's reading and some great stuff once again. My goodness, but talking about the 24 hours a day real quick. Did anyone else ever have any hangovers? I sure have. And of course, you got the splitting headache. I know for me, when I would wake up from a blackout, the panic, the mental panic of, oh my gosh, what did I do? What did I say? Why did I drive here? I could have killed somebody. Did I? Oh my gosh, all the horrible things. I mean, I'm replaying them in my mind right now. Oh, I don't miss those days at all. All the horrible decisions I made while drinking. The alcohol would just strip away that common sense filter that I had, which I didn't have much common sense then. So compounded on top of drinking, it was so much worse. But the thing was, not only was I hurting myself, but I was hurting the ones around me that I love more than anything. It truly was like that tornado roaring through. But the beautiful thing is kind of what the Daily Reflection was talking about. Once we get sober, we can share all that stuff that we thought was wasted in our lives. Now we have a unique and purposeful tool that we can use, a spiritual tool, honestly, that we can use to help others that are still suffering. And say, hey, I've been where you're at. Hey, I remember those hangovers, man. Hey, I remember those blackouts. I remember the panic I felt, the guilt and the shame and the remorse. But dude, I'm sober today. By the grace of my higher power, I'm sober today. And I'd like to help you. Let's walk through this big book together, or let's go to a meeting together, or whatever it might be. But we can be of service to others. And what was once broken can turn into something beautiful. What was once our greatest weakness can turn into our greatest strength. This sobriety thing is a beautiful thing. So with that, my friends, that's all we have time for today. I hope you all have a great one. As always, I don't speak on behalf of AA, NA, Al-Anon, any other sect. I'm just a drunk in this lifeboat of recovery. Really honored to be here. And if you're sober, my friend, you're a miracle. And you have a unique gift that you can give to somebody else that's still suffering, and maybe collapse that time for them to recover. Just maybe we can help somebody else not dig as deep as we dug, to put the shovel down, maybe a couple levels higher than we were. And if you're not sober, my friend, I want you to know that you're a miracle too. You have value and you are worthy of recovery. Why don't you get the help you need today? But with that, my friends, if we were given another set of 24 hours, I sincerely look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow.